And what are we doing here now? It's the 23rd of February, 24. Yesterday was a giant trend day up. The overnight continues in that vein. Here's the overnight, pretty much. It looked to me like this morning it was going to open it right near the overnight or the yesterday's highs, but obviously the last few minutes it shot up, so we'll be opening higher out of range. I was all thinking I was all clever having my statistic percentages in alongside my stats early this morning, but anyway, it is what it is, and I'll finish just what I'm doing here now, which is changing them all. Thank you so much. Overnight low is 33.4. Yeah, so boy, I hate that stupid thing. And previous close is 46.3. The way I do this is real simple. It's just these statistics are generated by a study in my IRT. That's immaterial at this point. So we now have the overnight point of control, the overnight mid, the previous RTH high, the current RTH high, which incidentally is a new all-time high for that market. The overnight point of control. I hope you can see these, come to think about it. The previous point of control and the percentage for that, previous close, and the overnight low. Pretty much it. So this volume profile is for the full session. It started at 1700 last night. You see that it's basically a maybe 20-point range, not very much. So pretty much a muted ETH session. This is the RTH profile. It will reset at 8:30 this morning. This is the chart volume profile, which just charts whatever volume is on that you see on the chart to the left. That's where that's at. Okay, now let's have a look at where we are so far. This is the overnight. This is yesterday's range or trade. This is the overnight, and you see where we were, and then some clever person decided to take it up above here. This is the market profile. This is pretty interesting. This is the micro composite. What I do is select all trade. These are regular trading days only, and I select all where price overlaps. So this one here is now an island gap and really shouldn't be included in this volume profile, in this micro composite. So what I'll do is, didn't want to do that. What I will do here is go like that, and that should be correct. So the micro composite volume profile is 77.5, which will be set on my book map. And then this is, in my opinion, is an island top, which doesn't overlap price in any way. The bottom wick came down to the top of this volume profile. So I want to make sure I didn't screw that up here with my thing. Gets a little bit tricky, and it's on a monitor I have two monitors, a little tough for me to see. So yeah. This one is kind of interesting. You see this big tall wick? That's what brought that up here. So it's kind of a crazy setup. But in my opinion, this is an island top. Anybody can draw them however you want. The old theory behind the micro composite was you would consolidate and draw a volume profile with all the associated POC and high volume nodes, et cetera, around that where price is overlapping. And obviously that's clearly what's happening here, but we jumped clear out of it. I don't consider this little spit right here to be an overlap. So that's that. And let's see now, what else do I need to do? I will initiate my multi-brackets, which deselect every time you shut off bookmap or anything else. This is the configuration for the risk neutral trade in a 2-lot package. You can trade as many of those groups as you want, but the stops are set at 12 ticks. First profit or the risk neutral scale is 12. And the way you notice that this one is 13 because in this tool, you can't set both stops at the same price. The moment you put the trade on, you can change them. That's not a problem. So that's why this is 13 and this is 12. So they're activated. And then I initiate the trading function and I go with both because I initiate trades with the keyboard and then move the stops or just stops and targets with my mouse. And so trading is set up and ready to go. And these kids just can't get enough of this up crap. Anyway, so here we are. Now the mid is changing. So these statistics are obviously pulled from the IRT study, which I've gone over a million times, but can do once again, I guess. Have them here in the T-Lab stuff. This is the IRT study. So we only have 4 options: higher out of range, higher in range, lower in range, lower out of range. In this case, our price is higher out of range. So the percentage or probability for the overnight POC to be taken out is 79.5, overnight high, mid, etc. And if you go back over here, you'll see that I've typed those in accordingly by the price level, which is also pushed from IRT. Okay. This is a chart that I push, a view that I push to the Traders Lab every morning at 8:20, just to give those who don't have IRT and whatnot the benefit of the numbers, all the numbers associated. Seems to be helpful, I hope. And I'll do that now, actually. Excuse me. Whoa, boy, that damn thing is loud. I got to shut those audio things off. I don't know whether it's coming across the stream, but damn loud in my ears. I'll tell you that right now. Feels like loud. All right, so the stream apparently is flowing. They can't get enough of this up. That's for damn sure. Wow, look at them go. Going into the open with I don't know, somebody put crack in a water cooler, or I don't know what happened there. There's no numbers this morning. There's no bond auction. There's no. Yeah, it's interesting. Why they would, what would prompt the need for a run up like that in the last, 5 or 10 minutes before the open, when the overnight had been essentially, the overnight has been essentially flat all night. And then the last 10 minutes, they run it way up. Go figure. I don't know. It's the hell out of me. But it is what it is. This is the Renko charts of the ES, the NQ, the micro composite, and market profile. Yeah. Yesterday I had a trade. It's in the stream, but I took a trade for the IB failure short. Got a scale, helped, followed my plan and my rules to the letter, and that took a scratch. And then it's hard for me to get on trades, on trends. Actually, I always feel that I'm, I always feel like it's some sort of FOMO. So I just am real conscious about not over trading or not giving in any of those. You'll always have FOMO and all of the fear and all the emotions, but you have to learn to recognize them early and not react to them. And this, of course, is just my opinion. Obviously, read all the disclaimer crap in the text there in the description. You can lose more than you have and all that stuff. No, important part is none of this is for financial advice or trading advice. This stream is my video journal. I narrate so that I can hear what I was thinking when I review the stream. And I can obviously see what I was seeing. So it really works out nice. And I would recommend this to anybody. And it's all free. The OBS software, which is fantastic, is free. YouTube obviously is free to have a channel. What do you want? Free is good, I guess. So we're going to open here in about 6 minutes. I have my levels. Mid keeps jumping up, obviously. EVPOC, staying where it belongs. A word about the POCs here. The muted yellow is the full session VPOC. The bright yellow is the RTH session POC and will change, obviously, immediately when this opens. The only other lines on my chart are the VWAP, which I guess you could technically consider an indicator. I don't know. I guess so. And the mid, which is somewhere around here. And there you go, the mid. And this blue thing is the correlated market, which represents the relationship of the NQ in terms of movement. Obviously, the NQ is trading at 18,000, so prices are not even closely related, but the movement is related. So that's it for the chart. The rest of it is all this heat map is doing is reflecting the book, the liquidity in the book. And the interesting part to me is when did that liquidity enter and when did it lift? I've had Jigsaw for years, which has stacking and pulling and all those things clear back way back, but it doesn't show you when, and they've tried to put a heat map together, but last time I looked at it, it was still really immature as far as utilization. And this is so much easier for me to do. I don't have to. So, anyway, here we are. Much more mature product. As far as the heat map's concerned, the dome, there's nobody makes a better dome than if you can trade off a dome than Jigsaw. You don't need all the rest of this crap. But I'm dyslexic and have a problem, reading a dome and reading the numbers, even with stacking and pulling going on there. So I find the volume profile and the related liquidity levels. Like this was a high bunch of liquidity for most of the overnight session. The minute they came up there, it traded out and it's gone. They haven't reloaded it, right? So that's something to take on board. I mean, that's information. Man, that's about that. Let's see now what else is going to happen here. We're going to open in 4 minutes. I'm going to go on, get my water bottle full at a bio break and all that kind of thing. Okay, so a couple minutes to the open here. Make sure I've got all my ducks in a row. Levels are lined up okay. I've got the trading initialized. And yeah, here we go. When the market opens, I will reset the IRT charts to the full to the RTH session from the full session. Real simple. I just go to full session. I mean, today's session from full session. It's not a big deal. And yeah, 1 minute to go, Bobo. Now, what are we going to do here? So we have suddenly gone way up. The longs have suddenly gotten consistently profitable, and we are with new all-time highs. I would suspect responsive selling at the open to take some profit. And then I think it's quite on the cards. I would hate to quote a statistic because I don't have one, and we're open now. Typically, RTH doesn't like it when ETH makes any kind of a record, high, low, and in this case, all-time high. There's no damn way that's going to stick, as far as I'm concerned. And I start tracking the migrating VPOCs right now this way by this flag, because that obviously now it's easy to see where the VPOC is, but as the day progresses, this will scroll off to the left, and so these flags give me a good heads up. My IRT also tracks that. There is a developing VPOC, which is a yellow stepped line, and then there is the red, which is the current current POC. So the charts are now reset. We're gap up. Don't forget, here is closed down here someplace. Closes down here. So we're gap up by 15, 16 points. And so much for my idea of, well, they immediately took out the new all-time high and ripped it up. So they, showed those guys who's boss, right? And so much for my responsive selling for profit. I'm not going to keep track of that stupid little one tick jump there. This at the beginning of the session, obviously this POC is very volatile because there's no volume, 1 or 200 contracts and the thing's all over the board. Here we are up at 5120. We were 4,900 Monday. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So is it going to be a gap and go? Well, let's see. We've taken out the ETH high. We've taken out the that's it so far. So we haven't come down to test the VPOC from the overnight or the previous close, which would, or even the previous range or previous high, which would close the gap on the range level. That's down here at whatever that is, 5107.75 about. Here we go with this migrating VPOC up. Guys are pretty excited about up here. I don't know what to think about that. Market goes up to go down and down to go up. So, right now we're working on a second gap, second open gap. Yesterday was that. And VPOC migration is a structured trade. And this is a VPOC migration up where they tested the mid and VWAP. Now they're going to trade higher. There is a trade that's mid or VWAP to the POC, but for my risk neutral setup, I've got to have 3 points from the entry to the first obstacle. That is where my risk neutral scale is. And if I don't have that, no, thank you. And this is only a point. So obviously that's not a viable setup. Just FYI. Sure would be surprising if there was no volume. I mean, no profit taking, but and it's Friday, so there's no numbers. It's not a holiday. It is a Friday. Now, for my trade plan and structured trades, this is kind of no man's land for me because I don't take the middle out. The VPOC migration up, as I explained, was not viable. And I'm going to be just sitting and waiting here to see what develops. We're only in the market 6 minutes. Okay, some banging and clanging going on here in the house. I had to go investigate. Yeah. I trade from an office in my home. Very convenient. As I suppose most of us do, actually. And here we have the full session VPOC is now aligned with the current session right here. But you see that it's nothing. I mean, 4,300 contracts, right? That's zippity doo-dah. 46, actually. It's really nothing. I mean, by the end of the day, we'll have a VPOC at around, probably around somewhere between 12 and 15,000 contracts. Stand by here. Let me see what the hell's going on. Yeah, boy. Here we go. So no inkling of closing the gap. A little bit of a run up, but now a bit of consolidation here. Just a word about the IBs, which are the IB high and the IB low. It's an old market profile term for initial balance. They continue to fluctuate, or they don't fluctuate. The IB high continues to go up with price, and the IB low goes down with price for the first hour. That's all it is the high and the low of the first hour of RTH trading. Nothing magic whatsoever. The rest of it's pretty, I guess, understandable. The levels, the developing value area high is obviously the value area high and value area low of the developing, which is the current session. The previous session is just the value area high or value area low. Now, yesterday there wasn't a value area because it was a trend, meaning prices seeking value. It's price discovery, they call it. And now we have a consolidation here, pretty obviously. Little microstructure, consolidation. This looks pretty funny because this was the trade. There was the overnight high, right? So this was the overnight trade, and this is all brand new stuff. That's why these things are all look suspiciously identical. And this is it. One of the things that happens on days like this is everybody that didn't get on that trend and make any money out of it has got FOMO coming out their ears. And so, yeah. Typically, we would be getting some news around the top of the hour, et cetera. So, but there's nothing on the cards today. In either earnings, there were only two companies reporting: Coca-Cola East or Coca-Cola Europe, I think, and somebody else. They reported before the market opened, and see all this goofiness going on with the POC here. It's a pain in the ass, but it gives you some insight into what the heck is going on. The market is accepting value higher. Whoops. I want to do that. Go away. market is accepting value higher. So they're at the moment it's gap and go, right? And now maybe they're going to get some of that correction down there. What's going on? Why are you all paranoid looking? Well, there we go. I hate this kind of a day, to be honest with you. My basic trade style is preference, I should say, is short. I early in my life decided, or I don't know why, I don't have a negative personality, I don't think, or any of that stuff, but I've noticed that the market tends to go down more than it goes up, faster than it goes up, with more direction and more conviction. Usually it'll take the stairs up. There's an old saying, it'll take the stairs up and jump out the window down. And this kind of a thing where you're expecting some responsive selling for profit taking. There's a gap, and it's a small gap, easily closed. And that's not to say they won't close the gap. We've only been open 15 minutes, but this kind of nonsense here is hard for me to trade. I think probably hard for a lot of people to trade. It's jumping up faster than my IRT, updates pretty much every, 10 seconds or less. But Bookmap only updates the levels or refreshes the levels every minute. That's the smallest increment I can set on the cloud note column. So you'll notice that the price is up here. Overnight high, or the IB high, which is the high of the day, is right here. So it'll jump up here in a couple of seconds when that refreshes. The IRT, of course, is exactly on the, right on over here. You see that the green is the IB high and low, and they're extending here. So that's, that's it. There we go. And it updated. And that's a Bookmap function, nothing to do with the other charting package. Okay. So anyway, having a little fun on the Traders Lab. Anyway, back to the market here. It's just this kind of thing is irritating. So I try to not. I find that if I stand and stare and focus, I think it's a human nature thing. You start to find patterns and excuses and reasons to trade, and stuff like that. I believe. Now, this could be an indication of finally that they're going to get down under this developing value area low and get some short. The problem is that would be a counter trend trade, even though my hackles were up because short. I like it, but right now the market is up. So until the context has demonstrated for sure that it's down and they're going to try to close the gap or whatever else it is, I wouldn't be a short wouldn't be in my game plan, which is tough because that's what I like to do. And that's what I expected to happen on the market open, right? And we've been open basically 30 something or 20 something minutes, 22 minutes or so. But a short now. Yeah. So that was, you see, now there's all of these. Okay. We're tested up here to the all-time high. We came back up for a trigger. This could have been a short, but barely. There was 3 points to the first obstacle, but it's a counter rotation trade, which at today is not in my trade plan until I'm convinced that the context has changed. And what I would say about that is, you see here, we opened, we've gone straight up. There's been no indication to take this few little 10, 15 point or whatever gap close. Therefore, it's context is up. The market is up. Context is up. Shorts are off the table for me until otherwise. And right now I'd be getting, how would you like your butt served? Medium rare. Yeah. That's why it's important to be continually focused and vigilant, aware of your emotions and your triggers and all that monkey brain chemical crap that goes on. That is basically trading is contrary to our instincts, right? We put ourselves in harm's way when we see a risk, we walk toward it, all that stuff. running the other way. Hi, Panda. And yeah, there's a perfect example of why not to do that. And none of these trades qualify. I mean, there's no structured trade or trigger any place here for me because none of them fit the criteria of 3 handles, 12 ticks or 3 points to the first scale and risk neutral. And this thing could go up to the moon, Alice. You know, it could be another Jackie Gleason day like yesterday. Who knows? Who the heck knows? Okay, now we had a EVPOC migration up again to here. And no sooner did I get the flag in there than they're right back down here again. So that was a waste of damn time. Oh, here we go. They're going to try to close that gap, perhaps. ETH low. No, I missed that. Wow, what is going on here? There's the IB low. We're right back at the open. Got my finger on the trigger here, but I'm not. I was too late. I was too busy laughing at that quick pop in the EVPOC. There was no structured trade any place there, actually, nor is this. That's just a stop run, looks to me like. And I don't have any structured trades here. So much as I had my finger on the short button, I don't think that's it. Would be lovely to see them get up here, and obviously there's no possibility for a EVPOC migration anytime soon to here from here. That's 5,000 contract got to go off in a big hurry. So, you know, was this a trigger? I don't know. Not for me. And would have been a nice trade, but I wouldn't have been on it. Be honest about it. This is a real tough trade area for me because it's triggering my let's get short mode, but it's really just now essentially mean reversion. So far, and a consolidation. So they don't look like they want to close that gap too bad. I'd like to get short for that gap close, but now we are in the second half hour, and some clever fellow in the Trader Lab has cooked up a statistic that says it's called the IB30. They've now changed it from just the IB stat to the IB30 and the IB60, meaning that the IB high or low, forget it if you want to forget calling it IB, the high or low of the first 30 minutes has a high probability of being extended up or down in the second 30 minutes. They call that the IB30. And then the old time original statistic is the IB stat, which says that the IB, the high or the low of the first 1 hour, is taken out by price at some point in the rest of the trading day. Could be the second after 9:30. It could be 1 second before the close. That part isn't factored in. And you see how this mean reversion is working out now. It's twice. Up here we had the trigger at the outside edge. We reverted to the mean and down to the bottom. Now here we are going back up, and now we've come back down, and now we're going back up. So are this is the mean, obviously, right? So are these mean reversion trades? Are we going to continue to rotate up here? That's what happened all night until the last 10 minutes or some crap. And then they, however that went, they ran it up. So, yeah. There we go. And now this is exactly the spot you don't want to engage, in my opinion. This is, the mid, the POC, and the VWAP are basically stacked. Talk about the middle out, right? That is the quintessential diddle in the middle there. And, it's, whoa, what happened there? Why is my computer shutting down? What the hell happened here? I don't know why that happened. The hell's going on? Lucky, goddammit, are you doing something under there? Huh? No? What the hell's all that about? I am not sure what happened here, to be honest about it. Looks to me like everything went off. What happened here? Something? Well, that's goddamn annoying. Well, I don't know if I'm streaming or what the hell has happened, to be honest about it. My guess is that I'm not. But yeah, I never had that happen. Well, that sucks. Big time. I don't know exactly what the hell that was all about, to be honest about it. And I don't know if I'm streaming or what I'm doing. Huh. That's pretty weird. The hell is this shit? Hmm. How the hell did that work? That's fucked up. Get the fuck away from me, you son of a bitch. Oh, oops, I shouldn't swear like that, I guess, in case I am streaming. Well, that's pretty weird. Okay, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on, to be honest with you. I don't know whether I'm actually streaming now or not. The app isn't working. I don't know what to think about that. How could I check that out? I don't know if I reconnected or not, to be honest about it. I'm not getting any stats, so I'm guessing. It says it's live for 58 minutes. And that it's streaming 3,400 BPPS, so maybe it is. I guess I will continue and see what the hell happens here. I lost all of my stats and all of my flags. That's just real irritating. Don't have any idea what happened there. The computer everything went off for a second and back on. You can see the length of time it took me to bring Bookmap back up right here. Yeah, beats the hell out of me. So that's pretty magical. IRT didn't report any issues. Didn't even come back with the. Typically, if you if you have an ungraceful shutdown in IRT, it'll come back with a I don't know what it's called, database manager window or something like that on restart to confirm the database integrity and all that kind of stuff. It did none of that. So, and it looks to me like we're still streaming on the OBS, even though I don't have the control panel going, nor the chat doesn't seem to be up, but the KBPS and the time is still ticking over. So I assume it's okay. And, here we are. No trades happened there. What I was talking about when that happened was it looks like we're in a mean reversion area, right? We've traded up here. We're consolidating around this area. And we basically traded from the outside in to the mean and down and back up. And there you go. And now here we are just slopping back and forth around it here. So I don't know. Let's see if because I should show you that the multi brackets have to be reestablished because Bookmap did go down. So that means I've got to restart my trading stuff, reactivate the trading platform or the execution window, whatever they call that, the trade window or whatever it is. So now I'm back in the ballpark that I could be. Actually, I'm not going to trade. I will be really, really interested to review the stream to see if somehow or another I accidentally clicked something like click shutdown or whatever else, because that was the window that presented there was 2 or 3 programs open and did I want to proceed? And I clicked no, cancel, whatever. If I accidentally got down here somehow or did some keystroke that did the shutdown thing, certainly didn't do a control alt delete or anything. So yeah, what the hell? I don't know. But you see that we have this lost data here, which is disappointing to me from Bookmap's point of view because I pay for DTNIQ feed for historic data. The problem is this will not present that the cloud download of data here. It only says local. Well, if I had the local data, I wouldn't need to be doing it. That's stupid. I'm probably doing something wrong there. I'll have to figure out what that is, but I don't like this big gap in the data. That's ridiculous, especially when I'm paying for historical data, and that the thing should reload the historical data. It says it is, but How could it be? If I don't have the data, it means the program was off, means how do I have local data? Makes no sense to me. Now with IRT, there's absolutely, I'll show you that, right? There's absolutely no problem with a reload. You simply right click, data download, data download, full data or last 20 minutes or whatever you want. I always do full. It's now importing all of the bars and downloading all the historical data. And this will be absolutely correct. And that will apply to all of the charts here, which are only ES and NQ. And these two are both ES. So you see that historical downloads in progress going back for 2,000 something days. And there we go. And now we're up to speed and everybody's happy. Bookmap needs to get their shit together when it comes to that. It's been one of the issues I've flagged up to help a few times, or support, or whatever it's called. And we'll do so again. Oh, I should have kept that over here for you. Sometimes it puts a little, what? Thank you. Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess we're back in business, but I would be hesitant to take a trade. Now, one thing about Bookmap and or Rhythmic is the trades are server side. So the stops and orders are reside server side. So if that, say I was in a trade and I had, my scale and stop and all those kind of things on, they would remain in force and be executed if price got there, in theory. Of course, you could, something could happen where it could blow by your stops because the stop converts to a market order. And then if there's a big jump, it can go past those stops. But that is a real advantage over a lot of programs where they live on your computer. So, good luck. Very much good luck. Well, that's disappointing. And it's more disappointing because I don't know what happened. My computer's, rock solid. It's a really dependable machine. I build them myself, so I know exactly what's in there and how it's configured. The hell out of me. Anyway, no opportunity, no trade missed, no harm, no foul. I guess no. No setups were missed in that little hiccup. And right now we're just slamming back and forth over the EVPOC. Coming up to 9:30, which will mean the next stat on the table would be the IB stat, IB60 stat. Now, think about it. This is the mid, right? So it's absolutely equidistant to the IB high or the IB low. So flip a coin, which way you're going to go. At the moment, I would suspect it would go towards the IB low, but you know, that's, I guess, just because of my short. I'm still trying to figure out what happened with the computer there. It's just, but yeah, at the moment, I'd say it's, and our stats are gone, but that's okay. They weren't, they went away when Bookmap didn't save. Any changes that happened from last shutdown, saved shutdown, of course, are not there. So the stats that I had put in and the levels and all those things and all the flags for the VPOC migrations went away when the computer had a brain fart or whatever it did. And at this point, I'm not going to go back and re-enter them all. I'm going to watch this. Maybe going to find something to chew on here. Okay, so what are we going to do here? We're going to go high. We're going to go low. We're going to just slop around over these price levels, and Uncle Billy's not going to get a chance to trade. Bummer. And I'll pick the process back up here with the EVPOC migration story, so I can keep track of price checks at aisle 3, which is what it looks like we're headed for now. See, this is you see why it's nice to have these flags. Can't see this VPOC migration here, right? Because it's scrolled off to the left of the screen. And this is where I was busy laughing when the damn thing went off. Well, that's not very much fun. I don't know whether that's even worth putting in there. That's just pretty much, that was a head fake if ever there was one of them. So at the moment, we're still mean reversion in theory. If you look over here, is basically just rotational and tight. I haven't bothered to look at that, but it's 23 to 13, 10 points. Yeah, I hear a concrete mixer, a concrete truck. Boy, I know that noise all too well. Neighbors must be pouring some concrete. I guess it won't be a problem for the stream, which I hope is streaming. Yeah. So what I'm just contemplating here is we're at 10-point range is all essentially, right? Well, 11 points, 11 and a quarter. Call me a liar. It's basically a rotational, i.e., which is mean reversion. The kurtosis for the profile is just about as perfect as you're going to get right there. And it's probably better seen over here. The mid, the POC, and VWAP are stacked on top of each other right smack in the middle. So, meaning it's in the middle, obviously, because of the mid. But, that's not an opportunity to trade for me. That's an opportunity to make retail soup. Disappointing. I obviously would like to have knock one out of the park today, as every day, but And here we are at 9:30. Well, I love to jump on that and take it down to close the gap and pass the IB and get my stat and say thank you very much. But I don't think that's probably a trade anywhere other than you could say the IB, the THI, or I don't know. Well, there's the IB stat taken out. I was thinking that test past the open would be a good. Oh, I just noticed something here. Damn it. I just noticed that my investor RT had not been saved either. And I'm going to do that quickly right now. The levels had reverted, the charts had reverted back to the overnight. Well, that sucks. So the IB stat has been taken, but not by very damn much. And now we're going to go back up for a IB failure, which would be a mean reversion trade in this, and it's absolutely justified in this context. So there's an IB failure, which is the IB stat was taken out. That's a real classic one, actually. Going on here. Okay. The IB stat was taken out right here by just not very damn much, a tick. Failed and back up to the mean. So, yeah. Now, I don't want the same crap like I had yesterday. I had a execution error yesterday because if I don't click in the bookmap window somewhere, if I've been off on one of my other screens, then the trade isn't initiated because the window doesn't have focus. So when I hit the keyboard, nothing happens. Pretty disappointing. Pretty darn disappointing. And these kinds of real tight mean reversion days are a good time to practice narrating and watching. This IB failure trade here was not anything I could do because there was no trigger. It's just down one time and straight up. That doesn't work in my world for my plan. Good. I mean, you know, it had many of the qualifications. It had at least 3 points to the scale, 12 to 15, right? And then the second target would have been somewhere up above there, but okay. Problem is it doesn't have a trigger. It's just when they're down and up like that, I don't know what to do there. I don't think it's doesn't qualify. Yeah. Yeah, this is annoying. And the problem with a day like today is there's no impetus, you know, to kick it loose like a number or Fed speaker, or, you know. And it's Friday. And. So we are mean reverting. we have been in that mode, which is essentially rotational, right? And a large percentage of the time, the market is trading. It's rotational or balanced or whatever you want to call it. It's auctioning. Trend days are not that common, or certainly not the higher percentage. And these kind of days here suck as far as I'm concerned. And this kind of a trade would be the inside out, which I'm not going to do. And, it's annoying. That's the magic of trading. It's once you, and this is my thinking completely for me, right? Once I realized that trading is a business of statistics and probabilities, exactly like a casino. You vet specific setups with very definite rules, and you then rely on the law of large numbers to bring that edge across the table to your bank account. And you do that by taking as many instances of that setup as you can, just like Las Vegas. They deal as many hands at 21 as they can in 24/7 period, right? And that's the way it works. And quite obviously, who's making the money there? Once I realized that, then, most trading days become a pretty boring. We're going to take down, it looks to me like. So here we are at the mean again. Are they going to try to close? No sooner than the minute that moves, I get an email that I need to do something else. Okay. Damn it. And now if I were to take this trade, it would be a breakout. Kind of a buck. I've been sitting here waiting all morning for this setup to happen, for this movement to happen. And no sooner than that does, somebody else ask me a pertinent question that's time sensitive on my other machines. Jesus. Timing is everything, huh? Oh, bitch. Well, they will close the gap, and then we'll see where it goes. Anyway, so much for that. Okay, now where am I? Different mouse, different keyboard. I'll put this on. Be right back, so my swearing doesn't come across. Well, that's just a bunch of crap. Now, I didn't get anything done this morning that I wanted to do in the trading world. I get interrupted by the email and a couple of things here at the house, and frustrating, I'll tell you. I wanted to look at this breakout of this microstructure here to close the gap, and if we get accepted into value here, chances are extremely good we'll trade across it. I hate to be in this now because it's basically a breakout trade. I'm just frustrated. That's a bad place to trade from. God damn it. The old gap rules say that if the gap is closed relatively soon in the trading session, which it is the first hour and a half, and the price is accepted in value, it will likely trade across it. Okay, there's a couple of provisos here, or however you say that. There is no real value from yesterday because it was a trend day. So that might have a bearing on the case. And we have closed the gap now. And thank you. Many different. That's so funny. I've been standing here since 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock this morning. And just as it starts to move down to close the gap, here comes a Teams message. Can you please send me this and that and something else? Jesus, Anyway, timing is everything in it. The magic of trading. So now I'm going to have to sit here and reassess my thinking. Do I look at this consolidation area and this microstructure and look lower? Right now, the context is lower, so this would be considered a pullback and then continuation down. However, it's context. You could I think context has changed lower. We were basically lower highs, lower lows in this consolidation period. Finally broke out and closed the gap. So shorts would be within the plan, but I just am not so sure what my trigger would be here. Previous high. The overnight mid is down here. Is that right? Have these things updated since I had that brain fart with the computer? Yes. Overnight point of control is down here. But we have mid, VWAP, and VPOC up here. So I will see what I see and think what I think. At the moment, we're trading up to this consolidation area, this microstructure, and we've got this liquidity above. And I did it again. I did didn't have the focus on the book map. Boy, that's getting to be really freaking old. And now it's too far gone. I was keying a short here. 9 to 6 would have been the scale. Would have been very close to the scale anyway. And I have to have activated book map focus here. Jesus, man, that is 2 days in a row. So we'll see now. We got one off. Maybe that was FOMO. What happened here? Now my well, it doesn't look like much of anything is working the way I had it planned here. Huh. Well, I don't know what the hell is going on. What the hell is this? I don't know what's happening here now, but I'm not real happy about it. I can't seem to get my screen capture to work. Okay, we're in here. I'm going to move this up one tick to get ahead of this liquidity and see if we can get the risk neutral scale out here. It looks like that's going to be the case. And I may just take them both off, assuming I get the scale. So there's the risk neutral scale. For some reason, my capture is not working. I got to see what I can do about that. Now I'm going to bring the stop under the break even once again. And I'm sort of thinking that I'm just going to take this thing off here because everything seems to be working incorrectly. But nothing's working right here, and I'm worried about it. So I've got my profit locked in there. I've got my second target down here. We'll see if we get to my target, which is just past the EVPOC. Doing some pretty piss poor project management. There we go. Okay, so there we go. And now it could continue to run, but wow, that was painful. I couldn't get my snaps to work for whatever damn reason that is. I will probably leave quite a bit on the table here, but I'm happy to be out of the trade as exactly planned. The only difference here was moving this up one tick to get ahead of this liquidity, which may or may not be valid. But wow, I don't know what the hell's going on with this machine, but it's definitely going to have a reboot after this session and figure out why all hell is going wrong. I don't know what happened to my screen capture stuff. I'm going to see if I can restart this stuff here. Why this is doing this shit? It must be. I'm thinking it's me. I always figure it's me. See if we get. No, I don't know what the hell that was. Oh, I got no idea what's going on here now. I don't know what the hell's going on. So I'll do move this over here, do a capture here. Wow. This is just a magnanimous pain in the ass here now. Okay, I got the screen capture there. I missed the screen capture on my IRT. Pretty frustrating. See if I can get that. See if I can get that here. It won't have the trades on them, but it'll at least be captured. Okay. minimize that. I don't know what the hell is going on there, but yeah. Anyway, so I ended up leaving 3 handles or so on the table by not moving my stop. But my target was the EVPOC, which I exceeded by a couple of ticks and got there. They brought it down to settlement. So at the moment, I'm not too disappointed with that trade, other than I did the god darn. I got to think about that focus thing. I don't know. That seems like haven't had an issue with that only the last couple of days, but anyway. Yeah. So I entered here looking for that trade across or into value. Basically, I was trying to get up here off of this micro composite. My targets were the mid into EVPOC. Scale was just at the mid, and the target was just below the EVPOC, which is a high. If the thing hadn't taken a dump, all the values were in here, the percentages. But when Bookmap had its little, or I don't know, the computer, I guess, had this little Yahoo, everything was entered properly until this happened. These values are not saved, obviously. So I guess I could put that in there, and that's in there, and that's up there. So that's okay. All right. So there we have a reasonably good. I don't like it when things are like that. Yeah, so that's about 35, 36 ticks or so. That's better than a sharp stick in the eye, baby. And I will not be doing any more trading today. I didn't put that down either. That's about 158, so we're somewhere around 140. I'll have to redo the timestamps here. Yeah. I'll have to do all the timestamps manually. So what I will do now is let's see. Well, the stream will be on for 2 minutes, for 2 hours, in about 1 minute. So I will stop the stream. Hopefully that has all been captured. If not, I can do a replay over the Bookmap, narration over the Bookmap. I'm going to stop the stream at 2 hours and then go back and review for the timestamps and figure out what the hell's going on with this machine. And I won't be taking any other trades. So there you have it. I can't get anything. All I can get is alarm bells to go off here. Anyway, have a great weekend. It's